It is rare that I meet somebody with a more profundo basso than myself.
Okay, I've got broadcast and receive on Roll20.
Disabled? Okay.
Oh, I received the copy of this table for me to run later.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So why am I getting... Hold on. Yeah, no, it's cleared up.
Okay. Cool.
Wait. No.
Well, that's really weird.
Say what?
Oh, I was actually just trying to change the name of the tabletop, which used to be something that Roll20 allowed, and because I've gotten such a response from local gamers here,
Mhm.
wanting to do something into, like, oh, Greg's going to do something. Let's see what he's up to. I'm actually going to run this for two different groups, one on Fridays and Friday evenings, and one on Sunday. So I was just going to change the name of this one to Friday, and then copy it to make a Sunday, and it won't let me change the title anymore. I'm like, wait, I thought Roll20 used to allow me to do that. Oh well.
Should be able to.
Yeah. Oh, maybe I'm just looking in the wrong spot. Maybe they moved me. So it just struck me as weird.
Have you tried just clicking like the letters in front of the picture?
Yep.
Hmm. That's kind of weird.
Okay.
Are you good?
Yeah, I think so.
Awesome.
Looks like what happened is somehow I had multiple input devices enabled on my... and it
Yep.
was just looping, so everything that was output was...
That will do it. And so, well, I guess a couple of things first. You guys did get some XP for the last session. You guys got 4 XP. And so if you have that PDF of that your character sheet, you can go ahead and like flip it to the next page, and it's got some options for how you can spend your XP. Let's see. Let me take a look at one of these.
Remember, that could get you 2 different 1-rank skills.
You can get like 1 ring. You can increase 1 ring, increase 1 or more skills. And it'll tell you like buying a skill is buying 1 rank in a skill costs twice the new rank value.
Right.
So like if you're going from 1 to 2, it'll cost 4 XP. And I think each character also has a couple techniques that you could buy into if you want. And rings cost 3 times the new value. So a little bit more expensive to buy a new ring. So I'll let you guys do that for a few minutes. And then I'll tell you your score because I forgot to do that. Your tournament score. So I'll start pulling that up. And I will be right back. I'm going to get some more water.
So, what'd you guys think of last session and impressions of the system and the world for? No, that's exactly correct. And yeah, it's you have to learn to be nice until it's time to be not so nice. To paraphrase the 1980s classic Roadhouse. Well, sure,
Cool.
and crab are kind of expected to be a little rough around the edges, and when they're not, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
a crab that knows how to behave in public.
Yes.
But but yeah, it's the the game has always kind of been about the conflict between this is the caste that um that protects and fights for the empire and all the skills you need to do that, but then you also need to be able to behave in a way that does not offend the emperor and those that influence the emperor. Because his word is law.
That is correct. Okay. So I do have your scores tallied up from the first day. I can tell you, or you could wait until the end of the tournament if you like.
I kind of want to know.
Okay. So Hida has a total of 6 points in this tournament so far. Tagashi Yoshi has 9 points.
Wow.
And Isawa Aki also has 9 points. So, 2 of you have already passed. Basically, you could flop the rest of the events, and you would still become samurai. But of course, there's always that wanting to be the very best, to be the Topaz champion.
And also not wanting to look badly for our family and clan.
Yes. So, are you guys all set up with your experience?
I'm still looking through it all.
That's okay.
I got a rank of courtesy and a rank of sentiment.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. And I forgot I left my book right behind me. Let me go grab it real quick. Okay.
I think I will buy a technique.
Which one?
I'm looking for the techniques.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have the core book, so
There's two techniques in your sorry. There's two techniques in the little character portfolio that are recommended.
oh yeah, here we go. Tempest of Air and Path to Inner Peace. I think I'm going to go to. I think I'm going to do Tempest of Air.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to not take Sentiment, and I'll take the Earth and Fist technique. I think I jumped on the skill train a little too quick.
Okay. That's fine. So you're keeping Courtesy and...
Yep. Which would be 2 points, and then Earth and Fist for 2 points.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool.
Well, aren't techniques 3 experience?
It says, and I think each one that you guys have access to are 2.
No, in the normal game they are 3, but
Yes.
But yeah, for this they're 2.
Yep.
Okay, then I'll also purchase a tech or a skill point. And I will put it in aesthetics.
All right.
All right, that should be it.
Okay. So are we ready?
I am ready.
Yes. Yes. If you bought one, so most likely you bought a technique that's a new action. So click add, and then you can just put the name and its type. And it's also going to have like a little blurb about what its effect is, or if it has any like new opportunities for it. And then you'll just type that in. And then when you're done, just kind of leave it as is. And that way, if it's something that you need to roll, you can just go ahead and roll it from there.
Yeah, I'm going to test mine out.
Yep.
Well, there's the text. It just didn't.
It probably won't roll automatically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was curious about.
So we would just make the appropriate.
Yep. So, like, if you're going to use a technique, go ahead and ping it in the chat, and then go ahead and make your actual roll. So, like, for Earth and Fist, you would make a martial arts unarmed earth check with a target number of 3. And if it succeeds, then the effects happen.
And if I can't hit that, then, well,
Yep.
I need to rebuild the entire character then.
Question. Sorry.
No.
How many points does Hideyoshi have? Since I assume they announced this.
Are you talking about Hitoshi?
Yes.
Okay. It does not look very well for him. He's only got 1 point so far. Yeah.
Well, Togashi, one of us needs to become the Topaz champion so he can denounce the tournament on his behalf.
Well, we could do that, or we could be assisting Hitoshi, or even donating our success. Like, we stand up and recognize that, hey, Hitoshi, and then specify some good deed he's done, and this is why he's deserving of this honor more than I don't know if that'll work, but just an idea I had right now.
Well, the trouble that can come up with that is if we get judged as cheating in order to help him. That doesn't help either.
Well, right. That is a good question about whether that would count as cheating or so. That might be something. Ooh, I am a dragon monk who likes to talk in hypotheticals and riddles. I could go and try to have a conversation with one of the judges speaking in hypotheticals and riddles to try to figure out how that might work.
Okay.
How that would be. I could try to reason with them and figure out if that.
Okay. It is the morning of the next day. So you guys had a bunch of thugs come in and you taught them a pretty good lesson. And so basically we're going to pick up the morning right after going into the second day.
And our fatigue recovers, but our strife does or does not.
Your strife and your fatigue will both recover.
So we're back to 0?
Yes.
All right.
It is a brand new day. You have not suffered any major injuries, so your fatigue will recover.
In my case, my strife will remain at 0 until my first roll.
Yep. So the next morning, the contest resumes. However, contestants who were injured too badly in last evening's brawl are unable to continue, which would be nobody. The first contest, however, though, is weaponry. And so you are offered to select a weapon from a rack, either a sword, spear, club, or staff, and you are to demonstrate their form. The judge seems to be particularly focused on footwork as you attempt to adapt to your opponent's technique. All of these weapons, by the way, are wooden. They're not real in any way, so they're not going to hurt your opponent. The judge for this trial is Akoto Aiko of the Lion Clan and Kakira Toshimoko of the Crane. And this is going to require a TN2 martial arts melee check. And this is just going to be you demonstrating your form with the weapon itself. You're not going to go up against any opponents. Not for this one. I'm not going to have you do that.
Sure.
So let us start with Togashi Yoshi. What weapon would he take from the rack?
That would be a staff.
Okay.
And I am going to flow about the room, showing the forms in a what's the word I'm looking for? A natural flow between one to the next
Okay.
So
make your martial arts check and choose your approach.
that's going to be water.
Okay.
And this would be melee. Ooh, I got some floating dice. Well, let's roll those, see what we have before we rule anything in or out. I need one of those. And one of those. Okay, so, and I get to keep 2. So I will take the 3 successes and 1 strife.
The judges both watch as Togashi Yoshi kind of flows around with the staff, doing his form. And they talk amongst themselves, and they actually seem to really enjoy his show or his form. Next up is Isawa Aki. What weapon will she take from the rack?
She takes the staff as well, but having little training in actual melee forms, she's just going to focus on the intense application of each form with the fire approach.
Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Nice.
Yep.
Just a little extra strife. No worries.
Yep.
And I get to keep all 3, so 3 successes and 2 opportunities, which leaves me with 1 strife.
Yep. Awesome. So, unlike Togashi, Isawa is a little forceful in her form. And it is enough to actually pass this event. The judges kind of go about remarking about how she went from one step to the next step and how it was a little harsh in a way, but she ultimately gets the point for the event. And next, Hida is called. Which weapon will Hida take? Okay. Okay. Hmm. Wow. Yes. Okay. And you took the water approach. Okay. So Hida dances around in the water approach as she goes about her form. And the judges seem also impressed, especially given the weapon that she has, taken from the rack. She manages to make it seem very flowy, like water. And so they discuss amongst themselves and they are impressed with Hida's form overall. She, Shiba is called next, and he gives off his form. It is nowhere near as impressive as the three of you, but he does earn a point, as does Mirumoto Hinata. And Kakira Riku does a does very well in her water style form. Kitsu Tsubasa also passes, as does Motobat Bayar and Bayushi Mei Lin. However, Yasuki Jun isn't as elegant with his weapon, and he does not pass this event. And eventually, Hitoshi is called to the stage.
Gonna try to give him some supporting advice,
Okay.
and I'm not trying to hide it, but some encouragement, some advice, but
Well,
also making it clear that since I am doing so well, and I think he is worthy of doing well.
okay. That is something that we'll have to wait till the end of the day.
Well, I'm about to find out.
So,
yeah. Since I have a little bit of a cushion, I'm seeing what I can get away with.
so Togashi talks to Hitoshi, and his words strike true. And he thinks for a moment, and the judges kind of seem a little bit impatient about the holdup. And so Hitoshi kind of rushes over to pick up a weapon from the rack. And he begins his form. And you quickly realize that, like Togashi and Ida, he has chosen a water form. And so you've kind of put some courage into him, and he is actually following in your lead in this one. And so the judges actually seem impressed by his performance, and he has passed the weaponry event. He steps down after putting his weapon back on the rack. Thank you for your kind words.
May the kami be with you this day.
Let us hope so. And he bows. You are led into a garden, and you are asked to compose a poem. The themes are tended to be based on the virtues of Bushido, or some other sort of abstract concept, such as impermanence or hope. And each contestant only has a few moments to think, and then they must recite their poem before the judges. And one of the judges takes a puff on his pipe. It is not we who are the poets. It is the universe itself, he says. And the judge for this trial is Bayushi Moriko of the Scorpion Clan, Kitsuki Taiyu of the Dragon Clan, and Hira Goroharu of the Crab Clan. One by one, the contestants are brought forward. Yasuki Jun is first. After a few minutes, he comes up with his poem and he recites something a little harsh and abrupt. It doesn't flow very well at all. And unfortunately, Yasuki Jun does not pass this event. Bayushi Mei Lin is called up next. And she actually does pass, as does Moto Bayar. And Kitu Tsubasa. Hitoshi has a smile on his face as he steps up with his poem. And he recites something about hope. And it flows very well into following the Bushido code. The judges seem not as impressed as they were with his form, but it is enough for him to pass. Kakita Riku also gives a poem, and she passes, as does Mirumoto Hinata and Shiba Toya. And Hirasugi is called to take center stage and read her poem. This is going to require a TN2 composition check. And you get to choose your approach. All right.
Interesting.
Yeah. 2. Hira. Oh, go ahead. So you can take all 3 of those because the third ring die that you rolled is from your explosive success. It doesn't count towards your limit. So you could take all of those. Yeah. And you could use those opportunities to take it down to 1 strive. So Hida goes up to recite her poem. And just like Yasuki Jun, it doesn't do enough to impress the judges. Isawa is called up next to read her poem.
I'm trying real hard to decide between inventing a new poem on the spot and attuning into the universe to recite one. You know what? I'm going to use a fire approach, invent a new.
Wow.
Wow.
What are the odds of that? 3 blanks and 1. Okay. Interesting.
So you came up blank.
I think the universe is telling me I should have used void.
Yeah. So Isawa goes up, and it's kind of like she's running a blank. And her poem isn't quite there. It's unsure of itself. And the judges, you can kind of see that the judges are a little disappointed. Togashi is called up to recite his poem.
Okay, I am going to invent one. Fire. And I am actually, in part of this invention, it's going to be ocean themed and mantis themed to try to give my buddy Hitoshi a little oomph. Ocean's bounty toil, limitless potential anew. Mantis breathe new life. And here's my roll. Got an explosive. All right. It was a shot in the dark. Oh my goodness, so much strife. I will take my 4 successes and 2 strife.
Only do the judges applaud the well thought out poem, but Hitoshi seems reinvigorated by the poem. And you kind of get the feeling that he's going to try his very best to make you proud.
Well, you got long times waiting on the wall for nothing to happen until something actually does happen. So
It's true.
maybe they fill time by writing poetry.
After your poetry contest, you are led back to the gallery where the I believe you had the heraldry contest before.
Yep.
And this event is on matters of law, the Tao and Bushido. Just before you enter the room, a judge brushes by you with an armful of scrolls. I hope you spent time studying for this, she says. The judges for this trial are Akoro Aiko of the Lion Clan, Asuko Himeya of the Phoenix Clan, and Bayushi Kiriko of the Scorpion Clan. This is going to be either a TN2 government check or a TN2 theology check.
Ooh.
Mirumoto Hinata is first, and when she comes out of the room, she looks very happy. Kitsu Tsubasa is next, and he looks pretty happy when he leaves as well, as does Shibatoya. Moto Batbayar is called next, and from the look on his face, it did not look like he impressed the judges.
Yeah. Crazy foreign magic.
Isawa is next.
I will theorize upon theology.
Okay. All right.
I'll take the 2 successes and the opportunity.
Okay. Are you gonna get rid of the strife with that opportunity?
Yeah.
Okay. So Isawa goes in and she's asked some very intricate questions on these matters of Rokugani law. And she does recall, or she is able to theorize the answer to each question. And luckily, those answers are correct. The judges allow her to pass. Hida is called next. Okay. Hida is asked the slightly different questions. They are also quite intricate, and she manages to recall each answer. And the judges are impressed with her knowledge of the Rokugani law. Yasuki Jun is next. And it looks like he's happy when he leaves. Which he needs to be. And Kitsu Tsubasa is also pretty happy when she leaves. Togashi Yoshi is called to next.
Um, well, I am going to state that all our entire existence is a mandate from the kami, and therefore it springs from the kami and use theology. And I will listen to the kami for each answer. So I will use sense or void.
Okay.
No explosions. I get to keep 2, so I will take the 2 successes and let my opportunity cancel out my strife.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to take on the strife and um well, let's see if this is a good use of opportunity. Since I am trying to listen to the kami in the room or in
Mm-hmm.
the area, um, what kami seem to be more prevalent here, so I could possibly pass that information along to uh, Hitoshi?
Ooh.
Like maybe give him a bonus or benefit of some kind, and I will take the strife.
Okay. Okay. And we'll see if the kami here.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what benefit, but that's some.
Yeah.
I'm spending this entire day trying to find ways to follow our mandate from the spirit of
Mm-hmm.
Satsume.
Okay. Last is Hitoshi. And he goes into the room. And he's actually in there a little bit longer than any of the other contestants. And when he gets out, he breathes a sigh of relief. And ultimately, he looks very surprised but happy.
Good.
Next, you are led to a large interior hall that has been cleared and set with a number of game boards. This is a contest of Go. The judge is Ikoma Ikehara of the Lion Clan, and he walks around watching each pairing. The judge studies the board with an almost eager intensity. Just like on the battlefield, bold tactics bear results. The pairings go as follow. Hira versus Shiba Toya. Togashi versus Mirumoto. Isawa versus Kakirariku. Akoro Masako versus Moto Bayar. Hitoshi versus Kitsu Tsubasa. And Bayushi Mei Lin versus Yasuki Jun. So, this will be a TN2 games check. And we'll start with Hira. And you get to choose your approach. Shiba Toya.
He's a male Phoenix Bushi.
Correct. Okay.
Well,
Oh,
because it's resisted, he might get 0.
Okay. Mhm. Unfortunately, Shiba Toya does get the better of Hida in this game of Go. And so Shiba Toya is declared the victor of this one. And the judge isn't impressed with Hida's strategy for this game. Togashi versus Mirumoto Hinata.
I am also going to be attempting Charm, and as she and I are from the same clan, I'm going to point out that, our clan has already won this match, and so we should sit and enjoy our time together. And so I'm just going to try to make it kind of drag out and have a nice, enjoyable game and not worry about the results. And if things turn out, I'm going to try to like make a pattern of a dragon on the board, which I know in Go is not the point. So, but not take it too seriously. Oh, I may have stumbled upon something. I may have accidentally got something worthwhile here. I will take my one success with one strife.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? I am going to take the... Yeah, one success, one strife, yeah.
Okay. The judge passes by at the conclusion of the match. Mirumoto Hinata has slightly done better than Togashi, and only that she has won this match. Although the judge isn't impressed with either of your skills, Mirumoto or Togashi's. But he does acknowledge Mirumoto's victory in this game. Isawa Aki versus Kakita Riku.
I will use the air approach to try and trick them with the placement of my tokens to try and draw them into a trap.
Okay. Ooh.
I will keep the success and the success with opportunity.
Okay.
And I will use that opportunity at 1 second. I will learn the judge's demeanor towards Hidoshi.
Okay.
Sorry, I am absolutely terrible with names.
No, that's fine. So as the judge walks by and makes his loop around the tables, you've noticed that he is watching all players with the same amount of equality, or he's watching each player equally. And it doesn't seem to be favoring one person over the other. He's looking specifically at the Go boards and strategy. The player doesn't matter in this case, which could be in Hitoshi's favor. And let's see, what was your roll again? Okay, 2. So at the conclusion of Isawa's match, the judge comes by and he sees the end result. And there's a slight smile on his face. And only that Kakita Riku has been defeated in this match. And Isawa has passed this event. Akoto Masako versus Moto Bat Bayar. Oh, wrong thing. Why am I reading all this? Itoshi versus Kitsu Tsubasa. There we go. This match is long and drawn out, but it's very clear from its beginning that Hitoshi has Kitsu up against the ropes, so to speak. And as the final stone is put into place, Kitsu finally concedes the match, granting Hitoshi a victory. Bayushi Meilin versus Yasuki Jun. This one is a bit of a surprise for everyone, as Yasuki Jun cleverly manipulates the board as he goes with a very direct approach. Or rather, he doesn't manipulate the board. As Bayushi Meilin tries to manipulate the board, Yasuki Jun charges forward in his strategy, catching Bayushi off guard, and she is unable to recover, which grants him the victory. After your go matches, you're led outside to the training field, and 3 lines are drawn in sand in intervals leading away from each butt. You are told to collect a bow and 3 arrows and line up at the closest line. You will fire your arrow, then retreat to the next line and repeat. You must show your proficiency with a bow and an arrow. The judge for this competition is Kakita Naomori of the Crane Clan. The judge bows serenely. True archers understand that the arrow knows the way to the target. This is going to be a TN2 martial arts range check. You get to decide your approach. And we will start with Togashi Yoshi.
I am going to attempt to. I don't really have any hope of winning this, so
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to act as a gauge for the conditions for others.
Okay.
So this is. I'm going to use Void and Sacrifice in order to figure out the wind and everything for everybody else, particularly Hitoshi, but Hitoshi and Hida, who are trying to help.
Okay.
So let's see see if I get any opportunity to help me do this. No. So do I keep rolling for each line, or?
No, this is one check.
Okay, I figured.
Okay. Togashi manages to hit one target. And the other 2, as he fires from the other 2 ranges, is not so well. In fact, he misses the last one. The judge looks in disappointment and slightly shakes her head.
And I will just say the arrow had no wish to. The arrow wished to fly longer this day.
And
after I completely missed the target.
And she will respond, "We are all servants of the universe. Better luck next time." Hitoshi is called next. Hitoshi's lines up on the line and takes a very deep breath. He raises his bow and an arrow shoots out. And just before it hits the target, he's already on the second line, preparing the next arrow. The arrow strikes the target, and he's already fired the second arrow. As it travels, he's already on the third line, and he's preparing his last arrow. Each arrow hits the center of the target, but not the arrow. So he kind of makes it so that there's like sort of a triangle in the very center of the target. The judge stares in awe at Hitoshi's skill. And there's some slight claps going around at his display and skill.
Hey, yep. What were we worried about? This guy's got it.
And he breathes a sigh of relief as he exits the field. Hitasugi is called up next. Yes. Okay. Remember, you don't have to take any of those if you don't want. Unfortunately, Hida does not hit any of the targets. And there's a couple of snickers from the other contestants. But the judge calls Shiba Toya to the field. And it looks like Shiba tries a little too hard, because one of his arrows actually does miss. He does not gain the favor of the judge. Minamoto Hinata is also called up, and her arrows strike true, but not nearly as impressive as Hitoshi. Kitsu Tsubasa is called up, and similar to Minamoto, her arrows strike true, but not as impressive. Yasuki Jun is called, and none of his arrows even hit the target. And just like Hida, he kind of just throws his bow on the ground and kind of stalks away. Isawa is called up to the field.
I know this isn't going to work. But since Japanese archery is focused on spiritualism and meditative as well as the technique of archery, can I use meditation instead?
No.
I figured. I'm going to use the fire approach to generate intense focus.
Okay.
And just go.
Okay. Intensity. Fire arrows. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that.
So I'll take the 3 successes and the 2 strife.
Isawa just fires those arrows with the intent of hitting the target. and all 3 of her arrows hit the target. It is not as impressive as Hitoshi's, but certainly more impressive than Mirumoto and Kitsu. The last person to be called up is Kakita Riku, and she looks very focused on the targets. Her first arrow hits the center, and she steps back to the second. She takes her time. She lines up her second arrow and shoots. The second arrow hits center as well. And she takes a step back to the third range. And she hesitates for a brief moment before letting the arrow fly. That arrow is off target. It hits the target, but it doesn't hit center. She seems a little frustrated, but also somewhat at ease. She breathes a sigh of relief and exits the field. The last event of the day is the trial of hunting. It is also the longest, because each contestant is instructed to make their way into the forest behind the school with either a bow or spear and bring back the most impressive game they can find by sundown. Shugenja and monks, and those who are strictly prohibited against spilling of blood or handling corpses, have been instructed to return with the most valuable or rare medicinal herb they can find. The judge for this trial is Hiruma Kagehiro of the Crab Clan, and he says, "Keep alert. The hares and bugs are quick to flee, so you'll have to spot them first." You are all instructed to go into the forest at your own leisure. This will require a TN2 survival check. So Isawa and Togashi, since you are Shugenja and monk, you will be on the lookout for medicinal herbs or some sort of rare plant life. Hida has been instructed to find an animal to bring back. So, let's go down the line. We'll just do some straight rolls. So Togashi, go ahead and make a TN2 survival check, whichever approach you feel is necessary.
Let's see if we can produce the best results here. No explosions. I get to keep 3. I will clearly leave out the blank. Opportunity will cancel strife, so I'll take 2 successes and a strife.
Okay. Togashi manages to find a medicinal herb that is used to heal wounds to bring back for judging. And for his bounty, he has passed this event. Isawa, TN2 survival check. Whichever approach.
First off, how long do we have for this?
For this event, it is until just before sundown. So it's a long event. So it's probably like in our time, probably like about 1 p.m. So you're given a few hours to find whatever.
Well, I'm going to use the fire approach to see if I can't figure out a place, innovate a place where someone else wouldn't think to look for a rare plant, and that they would be.
Okay.
I guess.
Go ahead. Okay.
I will keep the 2 successes.
Isawa manages to find a place that normally nobody would think to look for medicinal herbs, and surprisingly finds some valuable a valuable bounty. She brings it back to the judge and is given the pass for this event, which leaves Hirasugi for a TN2 survival check. Okay. What animal did Hida find? Oh, a small bear. How about that? So Hida brings back a young bear as a prize. Its skin is a little rough, but ultimately she passes this event. Towards the end of the day, the other contestants bring back their bounty. Kakeda Riku brings back some sort of fowl. Hitoshi is one of the earlier contestants to finish the event, and he passes. Kitsu Tsubasa also passes. Bayushi Meilin and Yasuki Jun also pass. A frustrated Shibatoya and Mirumoto Hinata come back empty-handed. But as the day goes on, Moto Batbayar has not returned. And just as the sun begins to crest down towards the horizon, he comes back with a silver-furred fox. And the judge looks at it and judges its worth and is very impressed. The end of the day, the judges find themselves in a room. The contestants are told to return to their lodgings and change into their finery, because that evening is the feast at the Suma Magistrate's estate. The magistrate's estate is an elegant home overlooking the village, currently festooned with lanterns and packed with servants and guests. The house has its doors thrown open to the warm spring evening, transforming its interior into one massive feast hall around a central garden. A servant bows to you as you enter and escorts you to your seats at a long table set aside for the contestants. At the head of the table is Kakeda Toshimoko, flanked on either side by town magistrate Kakeda Kaetatsu and a priest from the contest. Kitsuki Yuikimi and Bayushi Sugai sit across from him as honored guests, and each favors you with a glance as you reach your seat. A friendly one from Yuikimi and a dour glare from Sugai. Most of the fellow contestants are already there and enjoying the sake as well. Hitoshi, while looking a little odd, actually seems very happy. And as each of you sit around the table, an announcement is made over the total points for the contest so far. Let's see. I'll tell you your point totals for just the three of you as well as Hitoshi. Hida has 11 points. Togashi has 16 points. Isawa has 14 points. And as each of the points are tallied up and announced, there's small applause from the crowd around the contestants and the guests as well. All of the contestants have passed so far. And when Hitoshi's name is called up, the points are tallied. Hitoshi has 11 points.
Wow.
Shocking everyone for his skill that he has shown this day. This day alone, he has earned 10 points, which is actually quite astounding. Let's see. I think he has. None of you, actually, only one of you has actually come close to that. Or you've all come close, but only one of you has actually gone over 10 points in a single day. Or the first day. So all of the contestants have passed. The feast proceeds. You enjoy sake and a very well cooked meal. And once everything begins to settle down, you are called to showcase your gift to the magistrate.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I almost forgot. I had it ready a week ago, and now.
That is okay. So, let's see. Which order am I going in? Because there's a specific order. Okay, I gotcha. Mirumoto Hinata goes up first with a book of stories and philosophies of some of the greatest Shinseiyus thinkers of the Dragon Clan, with a note that says, "You will need this in times to come." After Mirumoto, Togashi is called to display his gift. What has Togashi brought?
So it is a page from a old copy of a dueling treatise from a Kakita master, of which there's many copies out there, but this is from an old copy of it. But that page has been folded into an intricate origami crane, and so in order to read it, you have to undo the piece of art.
Okay. Make an aesthetics check. You get to choose the approach, and this is going to be a TN2 check.
Yeah, let's see here. Aesthetics is artisan. We're going to do a water approach to adapt. We're taking this piece of paper and adapting.
Okay.
Roll.
Oops, sometimes it's slow.
I'm gonna wait a second. I think it went through, so let's try it again.
There we go.
So I will take both and end up with one net strife and one success. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take on the 2 strife, and with that one opportunity there, I am going to remove strife from Hitoshi. I can remove 2 strife from Hitoshi. Oh no, that's only with the void approach. Never mind. Yeah, I'll just take the 1 strife and 1 success.
Toshimoko takes the folded and he looks at it and he bows. Thank you. And he puts it aside. Yasuki Jun is called next. And he steps up with a cask of friendly traveler sake. And next is Hidasugi. What has Hida brought? You're just called up to the head of the table where he's at.
Nice.
Make a courtesy check. You get to decide which approach. Okay. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, this is a TN2 check. Okay. He takes the cup and he looks thoughtful for a second, and then he puts it beside him with the folded paper. Moto Bayar is called next, and he brought a caged songbird that he found in the western land beyond Rokugan. Bayushi Mei Lin offers incense and perfumes known to come from the spice islands of the Mantis. Toshimoko does not seem pleased by this gift. Shibatoya brings a poem from the Phoenix, written in honor of the host in stunning calligraphy. Isawa is called next.
I approach and kneel respectfully before him, using both hands to hold out a silver comb. This comb was gifted to my ancestor Isawa Kasai 90 years ago by Kakita Kazumi of the Crane clan for her assistance in foiling an assassination.
Make a courtesy check. TN2 courtesy check.
I'm going to use the water approach to charm him. And hope that doesn't bite me in the ass.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh. Impressive.
Hold on, let's see what I want to use that up. If I want to use that. Okay, yeah, no. That's. I'll use the opportunity to remove. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to use the water approach, use of opportunity to remove 2 strife for myself.
Okay. He takes the comb from Isawa and he looks at it, almost stunned. He says, I thank you. He holds on to it for a moment longer, valuing its significance. Kakita Riku is called next. She presents a broken boken, clearly worthless, but Toshimoko begins to laugh out loud. And following his laughter, some of the guests have also erupted in laughter with him. Kakita takes her seat, and Kitsu Tsubasa comes up with an elegant jeweled fan that once belonged to one of Toshimoko's ancestors, who married into the Line clan. And he takes this along with the comb and the broken boken. The event is over. More drinks and more servants come out with more drinks. And before anyone can really enjoy the extra sake, Hitoshi explodes out from his seat. Enough! I am not to be ignored, passed over, insulted at every turn. I too have a gift for you, Kagura-sama. He points one accusing finger as the hall rings with silence. I challenge you to a duel.
Oh no.
Okay.
And Togashi Yoshi is going to hop up, also in the way, but let Hida do the blocking of Hitoshi, and I am going to attempt to reason with our host that this is still a child, and dueling someone who has yet to go through their Genpuku would be dishonorable, and attempting a courtesy reason check.
Okay. TN will be 3 for this one.
I got lots of opportunity. Yeah. With that 3 opportunity using Earth Bro.
This would be a TN2 check, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, I still only got 1 success.
Okay.
tons of opportunity. So I'm just trying to figure out what I can do with that opportunity that might help. Any suggestions, anybody? What I can do with that opportunity?
Because you have quite a lot of opportunity. That's 3 opportunity.
Yeah.
So,
Well, you could use the Earth. Since your Earth approach, you can use the Earth opportunity to act carefully to minimize consequences of failure.
Oh, there you go.
Or suddenly recall an important piece of information not directly related to the task. And at the GM's discretion, you may establish a small preparatory action you took early, such as bringing along a common useful
mm-hmm.
Okay. Does our host have any known like hobbies or interests?
That you would know of, no.
Okay.
Although, well,
oh,
yeah.
I know. I have the rest of the scroll that I made the origami crane out of, and I offer to regale him of a reading from that. I don't know. I'm just like, oh.
So you're trying to minimize the risk?
Yeah, I'm trying to distract him.
Okay.
And this is the like, oh, here's something to distract him with. It's like remembering you have the squeaky toy in your pocket when your dog is freaking out.
Yeah. So he no. Not for this. That would be easy enough.
Can I shoot myself in the foot?
With what?
Words.
Go ahead.
We know.
What would you say?
Unfortunately, I am on the other side of the conflict that I'm on. I am agreeing with Hitoshi. So I stand and say, well, he has not gone through the Genboku. He is a samurai. He has become a samurai and can honorably challenge another. In fact, it would be against his honor to refuse to challenge someone who has so callously disregarded him and failed in his duties as a host towards his guest.
Make a TN2 courtesy or a government earth check.
Either way, it's got to be Earth.
No, you get to choose for courtesy, but for government, you're recalling that.
I honestly, I'm inciting at this point. So I'm going to use the fire incite.
Okay.
Because as far as I can tell, the host has dishonored him by refusing to allow him the opportunity to give a gift, and he is fully within his honor demands that he challenge him.
Make a courtesy fire check then. Ooh, look at that. I know. Surprises all around.
Well, let's see what I can do with that opportunity. I'm just going to use the opportunity to get rid of the strife.
Okay.
There's nothing particularly good I can use with the fire opportunity right now.
That's okay. Now names are escaping me. We are talking about. Oh gosh, I already forgot his name, and I just said it like a moment ago. Kakita Toshimoko is taken aback by Isawa's sudden approach, by her sudden words, and you can see regret in his face. Eventually, he will sit down. Perhaps I was not thinking of my guests, and I should have been more thoughtful. Please, sit down, Mantis. Bring forward your gift. And Hitoshi is surprised. He pulls out a small wooden boat, sets it on the table. I have brought you the finest boat. And Toshimoko kind of looks at it, a little confused. This small boat is the finest boat. I thank you. And before Toshimoko can pick it up, Hitoshi kind of grins. Oh no, this is not the boat. The boat is out in the harbor. This is just a model of the boat. And Toshimoko grins, and the two start laughing almost in the same way. And before long, some of the other guests begin to laugh as well, shaking off the near momentous disaster that just erupted. The event is over, and you all head back to your lodgings. Everybody has earned a right to take place in the tournament tomorrow. This tournament is it's a match. It's a duel between contestants with there will be a very clear winner by tomorrow's end. The tournament grounds are thronged with spectators, but the crowd seems subdued after the events of last night. A mild pallor hangs over the Topaz Championship, and from the brusque instructions of the judges, you get the impression they'd rather just get the whole event over with. You gather outside the assigned arena as the first contestants select blunted swords for the bouts to follow. Bayushi Mei Lin is first, against Motobat Bayar, and they both ready themselves. And with the bellow, the lion judge Akoto Aiko announces the first duel of the day. The three of you are outside of the arena watching this duel. Is there anything that you would like to do before we proceed?
I will meditate and try and center myself in preparation for the dueling, which is something I am not accustomed to.
Okay. I also forgot to mention, since you guys got a good night's rest, you are free from strife and fatigue.
But boy, was that an exciting night.
Yeah, that could have gone completely wrong.
And Hitoshi is actually there along the side of the arena too. Since he has gained enough points to become a samurai, he has been invited to this tournament. And he looks actually very well rested and happy to be here to prove his honor and his clan.
Well,
Yes.
but he hasn't had the ceremony yet either, so
Yes. The ceremony takes place after the tournament. And
we need to
it's
make sure he lives through the tournament.
and it's basically to see who the Topaz champion really is. The duel between Bayushi Mei Lin and Motobat Bayar is over. Bayushi Mei Lin quickly dispatches the slower unicorn Bushi. They bow when they exit the arena, and Mei Lin looks very pleased. The next duel.
Malin defeated who?
Sorry, say again.
Who did Malin defeat?
Mei Lin defeated
Bat Bayar?
yes, Motobat Bayar.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep track is all.
Yeah. The next duel will be between Kakita Riku and Hitoshi. Kakita Riku is the first to the rack, picking her favorite weapon with a distinctive white and blue wrapping on the hilt. Hitoshi picks just a blade after testing it out. They both enter the arena. They bow to each other. Akodo Aiko roars for them to begin. Something happens during this fight. Kakita Riku is proven herself to be a better swordsman. And in the first strike, her blade pierces through Hitoshi. Her sword is a real blade, honed to razor sharpness. It cuts through the unprotected flesh of Hitoshi. As if Riku's goal was murder, blood sprays on her face and across the sand of the dueling ring, leaving the crane stunned and her opponent badly injured. There's a rush as healers run to the fallen Hitoshi, and chaos breaks out across the dueling grounds. The three of you notice a slender figure passing through the gate of the school with a sword slung over their back. The sword looks just like the one that Riku is wielding, the blue and white wrapping on the hilt. It seems that Kitsuki Uekimi, the former Topaz champion, has also noticed something odd about this figure. What will you do?
I'm going to
Follow them.
Yeah, I'm going to chase the slender figure and going through the gate.
Okay. As you begin your pursuit, Kitsuki Uekimi is slightly surprised by your tenacity, but also grins. She points over to the sword rack where there are blades, and she says, "Grab one quick before we pursue." You each take a real blade from the rack, and the chase begins. You follow this figure out of the school, but this figure is already well far out in front, gaining quite some distance. I'm going to need a fitness fire check from each of you.
Fire! Let's see what we got on our exploding ring die.
There we go.
Question.
Yes.
Can I use the conflict opportunity for fire?
Let's see. What does it say?
Choosing the one I want is choose another character in the scene. Increase the target number of the next check they make before the end of the next turn by 1 if it does not include you as a target.
Narratively, how would you do that? What would she do?
You could yell out for someone to stop.
Yeah, yelling out something to get a lot of people's attention.
Okay.
Thief.
Then I will accept that.
She yells as she runs as quickly as she can. She yells, "Stop the thief!"
Okay. See. Let's go over your totals. Starting with Hida. What was Hida's total? Okay. What did Tagashi get?
That was 2 successes, 3 strife, and an opportunity.
And Isawa?
1 success and an opportunity, which I
Okay.
used to call attention to him as a thief.
Okay. The figure kind of manages to sprint slightly, or manages to open up the distance or increase the distance as he sprints. The people around start to notice that Isawa has yelled something about a thief, and they begin pointing after the figure, leading the way to where he has run off to. And let me roll something real quick. Okay. As you give pursuit, you soon lose track of the figure as they duck into an alley.
Sure. Can we declare what we do with our opportunity?
Go ahead.
So I want to inflame them, yell out that they're a thief and a murderer, and the stain upon their honor cannot be run away from. That's going to give them 2 strife.
Okay. You got it.
So, but we lose sight of him as they duck into an alley.
Correct.
Okay.
And the people that Isawa kind of inflamed kind of start pointing down that alley. Kitsuki. Oh, that's not the right name. Who am I talking about?
Kitsuki Yuakimi?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or yes,
Yuakimi?
that one. I was thinking about Kakita Riku for some reason. Okay. Yuakimi kind of breaks off from your group and she says, I will try to cut him off. You keep pursuit. And so her hope is that you will keep pursuing and that she could somehow go around in a pincer maneuver.
Yep. Ditto.
Okay. Make a fitness fire check. Another fitness fire check.
All right.
Go ahead and roll your exploding, Hida.
Good God.
Wow. Okay. Totals for Hida. Okay. Tagashi.
One success, one opportunity.
Okay. And Isawa?
2 opportunities. I'm going to use it to notice something missing or out of place in the vicinity that is not directly related to the task. I don't know that it's going to help us yet, but hopefully.
And I'm going to be calling out. I'm going to essentially be doing what Asawa did last turn with my one opportunity and trying to say, stop that person. They're a criminal. They're an honorless dog. And so trying to increase the difficulty for them for their next check by as long as it does not include me as a target.
Okay.
And here before the duel, I was actually thinking about what skill would I use to try and spot something wrong with this situation. Too bad I didn't actually ask.
The opportunity for Isawa to notice details isn't going to prove relevant because you would have left this scene in pursuit. So we could say that she can spot the crowd as the figure runs off far ahead and they're pointing. So she has plenty of time to decide which direction the figure has gone as the crowd keeps pointing where he's gone. And you've lost sight of him even as you kind of twist in and out of alleyways. But there's a crowd that seems to be pointing the way that he has gone. And as you follow this trail, it takes you some time. And unfortunately, it's more than enough time for this person who has a scorpion mask that you could definitely assume to be Bayushi Sugai has met up with some of his gang. And at their feet is the body of Yuikimi. There is blood coming from a wound, but it looks like she is still alive, if barely. And oh, what am I doing? That's the wrong layer. Okay. Why are you?
How the large Hida is small, has a smaller token.
I know. I'm gonna fix it.
Hilarious.
I don't know why it's slightly a couple pixels smaller, but there we go.
I just kind of Napoleon complex. I'm in charge here.
You see 3 ruffians, and as they spot the 3 of you exit this alley, they place their hands on their swords. And it's time to take initiative. Oh, but I gotta clear this first. There we go.
And oh yeah, I made a macro last time. Let's see if this works.
Cool. I am not good with macros.
For some reason, it didn't save. Okay. What's the formula again?
That's what I'm looking at right now.
It's our vigilance plus
your tactics roll. So it's a tactics TN2 roll, and then you add your
or is it focus as a bonus?
We'll say it's focus because you're prepared for this. You know that it's going to lead to a battle.
All right.
Vigilance is if you get caught off guard by surprise.
Tactics.
Oh, it's a TN1 tactics check.
And extra successes pump it up, right?
Yes.
All right. Oh, goody. Strife on initiative. That can't end well.
Excuse me.
Okay, so we just use our ring dice plus focus. Or no, we
successes. So whatever. So you're gonna roll a TN1 tactics, and you're gonna choose your approach that you'll start in for combat. And then however many successes you get above 1, you'll add that to your focus, and that will be your initiative.
Okay, so that's 4 successes plus 5 focus.
Okay, hold on. Keep in mind your results. I'm gonna get Bayushi's. Okay. Let's go down the line. Hida, what is Hida's total? Five?
I'm actually kind of surprised Hida doesn't have tactics.
Ow. That is surprising. Okay. Togashi.
Well, if I would chosen the fire stance, I would have ended up with a total of 13. But as it is, I'm at a total of 9.
All right.
Earth Stance. And 4 Strife.
Okay. And Isawa?
Also 9.
Also 9. Not bad rolls. Okay. So there's our turn order. Isawa, then Togashi, then Bayushi, then Hida, and then the Ruffians. The distance that you are in, if I remember my distancing correctly, you will be at a medium range.
So a 2?
Or, sorry, yes, a 2 range. I forgot. It's in numbers in this game.
Yep.
So that would be a range 2. So if you're using sword attacks, you'll want to be at a 1 range. If you're using like hand-to-hand combat, you'll want to be at 0 range. And you can take a maneuver to get 1 range band closer, and then perform an action. And I'll put Isawa right there. She is also at the medium, or the number 2 range as well. Isawa, what will you do? 3 ruffians are in the way, kind of blocking Bayushi. And they look like they are prepared to fight back.
So, like, I could use the technique, but it's going to affect everybody.
Which technique?
Tempest of Air. As an attack action, I make a TN3 Theology Air check, targeting everyone. Targeting everyone at range 2 to 3. If you succeed, each target suffers 2 damage. You may spend 2 opportunity to exclude 1 character.
Okay. So
my concern is if I do it and I don't get 2 opportunity, I'm also going to hit the already wounded Topaz champion.
Correct.
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Hope for those opportunities.
No opportunities. I mean, do explosive successes even help me at this point?
So you need to make a TN2 Theology Water. Oh, sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. You need to make a TN3 Theology Air check. So you're gonna need more successes. So
those explosions can also have opportunities on them.
Correct. So I would probably, yeah.
Okay. 2 opportunity dice. Or the 2 explosive dice.
Okay. So that would be a TN3. And so each target's going to suffer 2 damage. So the ruffians will suffer, Bayushi will suffer 2, and also Togashi and Hida will also suffer 2.
Sorry.
This is fatigue?
Correct. Oops. All right. The wind just rushes out and it hits the ruffians and Bayushi Sugai in full force. gosh, I already forgot her name. Yuakimi is also affected by this, but she is also prone. So perhaps we'll say that she isn't as affected as much by this rush of air or this tempest of air, so to speak. But it does affect her slightly. All right. That puts us at Togashi.
Yep. Since I can only move one range,
Hmm?
I'm gonna move there and strike with the sword against the ruffian on the end.
Okay.
This is I am trying to put myself in a position to not be counterattacked. I'm going to try to make myself the target and withstand their counter.
Okay. They are real, and I did not put the stats in your character sheet. I'm sorry. So basically, you're gonna roll a martial arts melee check, and I think the stats of the real sword is in your folio, your character folio on the second page. Let me check. Yes, it's a katana, so it will deal 4 damage.
And has deadliness, I think.
It does. Okay. So
So I got 1, 2, 3 successes and 1 net strife.
okay. You strike this ruffian with the katana, and you definitely wound him, and he is still standing, but barely.
Don't forget the effect of your. What stance are you in?
Earth.
I'm in Earth, so they cannot spend opportunity to inflict critical strikes or conditions upon me.
Correct.
Okay.
I wonder. Let's see. Because I got all of these little tokens here. I wonder if there's one that could be for Earth. Well, I guess we could use colors. There you go. Green is Earth. Earth is green.
Yep.
Right?
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. Which means these guys are all fire.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yes. Oh, these guys will mess around. They have fire. Which puts Bayushi Sugai next. And he's going to laugh and point. And he's just going to say, "Go and get 'em, boys. Make sure they are taken care of." And he will not join the battle just quite yet. He's going to let his ruffians do it. All right, Hida. Mhm. Are you attacking with this katana? Then yes. Okay. This one on the end. Okay. So you begin your fight against this dangerous ruffian, and he is just barely standing as well. He is definitely outmatched in this fight against a crab.
Question.
Yes.
It says for water stance, perform a second action on your turn that does not require a check.
Mm-hmm.
What exactly does that mean?
So, like, another movement. So, at the end, let's say that you perform an attack. You could use that action to maneuver somewhere else. Or do some other action that doesn't require a check. So, like, you can't attack twice. It doesn't allow you to attack twice.
Yeah. Well, no. If it allows him to move, he might not be a bad idea to maneuver into that alley. Well, no. If you go into that alley, you block off another route of escape.
Are you talking about like over here?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Oh, sort of pin him in.
Well, our ultimate goal is to capture Bayushi.
Right. No, I see exactly what you're saying. That's good.
Yeah. Is that what you would like to do? All right. So Hira has taken up a position in this sort of path, this road over here, blocking off any escape going this way. Which leads us to the ruffians. The ruffians are going to each attack. One or two of them are going to attack Togashi, the nearest target, and one is going to attack Hida. The one attacking Hida. Oh, I got rid of their little thingy. Whoops. Let me pull that back up. And they are going to make a fire martial arts check. Which leaves with... I'm going to 2 successes. That's going to be 4 damage on Togashi.
And is this deadly or just fatigue?
This is just fatigue.
Okay. Still getting used to the... Okay, so I've down. Okay, there we go.
Let's see. And the one for Hida... will not be hitting. So that would be all 3. So back to the top with Isawa.
I'm going to go ahead and move in and engage. Fire stance with my exceptional 0 skill with the sword. That will be 2 successes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're in fire stance. All right. So that would be 4 damage on this guy. Okay. He's looking very fatigued, but he is still standing. Togashi.
I'm going to attack the same one on the end. I am going to switch to fire stand. No. I'm hurt, or becoming fatigued. Earth, I think, is going to be the best way if I get hit again.
Okay.
Critical.
Air stance might be good.
Which?
Air stance adds 1 target number of attacks and scheme checks target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not going to hit anything in air stance.
Oh.
I'm not going to hit the broadside of a barn in air stance. I think Earth withstanding whatever they're going to come back at me. Best. Oh, look at all that opportunity.
Yeah. One success.
Oh, one success. Two. Actually, I am only going to take the opportunity, and that'll reduce my strife.
Okay.
I'll choose not to hit, and just sort of calm myself down. And my one little movement, I'm going to do the same kind of thing where I kind of maneuver to pin them in.
Okay. Sounds good. Bayushi's going to look frustrated. Why haven't you killed them yet? Hurry it up. And this makes the ruffians a little more eager. And now it is Hita's turn. Okay. Ooh. Nice.
Nice.
Okay. All right. This ruffian falls down to the ground. And it will now be the ruffian's turn. One is going to turn to Isawa, who. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Taunt the one going after Togashi. Yeah, I'm not hurt yet.
Spend opportunity to do that? As a hmm. Yes, I will actually allow that. Go ahead as a not a check, but to kind of taunt to try to get his attention. Sure, we could do that, and we'll see if it works. Okay, which leaves it to the ruffians. Okay. Unfortunately, as Hita does taunt the ruffian across the way, or whichever one, I forgot. The one at Togashi, right? He's already too invested in striking at Togashi. And this one is also too invested in going after Isawa. So we will roll with that. Oh, I should have been doing this. That's for Isawa. So that will be for. You're in. What stance is Isawa in?
Fire.
Fire. Okay. So that would be 4 damage to Isawa and for Togashi. That will also be 4 damage.
Okay, which takes me exactly to 0.
Okay.
50 remaining.
As long
Thank
as you
you,
don't
Stop.
go as long as you don't go under it, you are still standing.
Yep.
So make this round count. And we'll go back to the top with Isawa.
Once again, using fire stance.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity.
Yeah. What would you like to use your opportunity for?
There really isn't anything. I mean, I guess.
You can make them take on 2 strife to target you.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay. All right. That works. Togashi.
All right. I am going to come up to range 0.
Okay.
And instead of using the blade, I am going to use my technique, Fist of Earth, or Earthen Fist. And so this is a Earth unarmed check. Let's see if this works. Oh, I got an exploder.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need.
Did you need a TN3?
Yeah, that is correct.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not going to get there. I will take... So I'm not going to hit. I'm just going to use... I will take on 1 strife to... let me see if I can actually get anything worth... During a movement action, reduce severity. You know what? I will take on 1 strife to gain 1 opportunity, so that the next critical strike I suffer... Oh, wait a minute. I'm in Earth stance.
Yeah.
I'm not going
Have
to take
we
people anyway. Never mind.
have we talked about void points yet?
Well, and that's what I was actually going to...
We have not.
We can use them, so...
Okay. I guess I should have actually mentioned this when you guys leveled up. You guys each have 1 void point. And so a void point can be used to kind of change the scene to your favor in a little bit, in a way. And so what that means, so you would spend a void point to seize the moment, basically. So when you assemble the dice pool for your check, you can spend 1 void point to roll 1 additional ring die. And that will also increase the amount of dice you can keep by 1. So Togashi would roll another ring die, and he would be able to keep 4 of those, basically. So
yeah, I've done that. So, all right. So 1 extra ring die.
wow.
Okay. So
Clutch.
So I'll get my 3 successes, and I will keep the exploding die to get the opportunity. So I'll take 2 strife,
Okay.
which takes me dangerously high, but that will allow me to remove strife from... Who needs strife removal? How is Hida and Asawa doing?
I'm on 4.
So yeah, so you can reduce your strife by 2, as I reassure you, I've got this. And so I'm going to do 3. My damage is 3 plus extra. plus bonus successes. So I should do 3 damage to him. I guess that doesn't really work out unless I didn't have a sword. So probably not my best move there, but I got to use a technique.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Bayushi is looking like really upset and frustrated. And since Hida was the first one that took out a ruffian, he's actually going to let's go ahead and make you go bye-bye. He's going to go right on up and have some blades with Hida. And so he's going to try to attack Hida with his sword in the fire stance. And that will deal 4 damage to Hida as he takes some strive. Okay. And that is actually going to be all that he can do. So Hida, go ahead. Okay. Ooh. Nice. Ooh.
Well, you can keep them all because the exploding dice don't count against your total of 3.
Okay. All right. You managed to get some good hits on Bayushi Sugai. And just a few cuts and bruises, but he is still standing. But it looks like he will not last much longer at the way that you're going. Is there anything else you would like to do? Okay. This ruffian has noticed 2 of the others fall, and he could only surmise that he will be next. And so he looks between Isawa and Togashi, and he's going to drop his blade and attempt to run away.
I will not try and stop him.
All right. Unfortunately, no. Which, I mean, I can see like why they wouldn't include it, because you're supposed to be honorable and fight, right? But I would have actually let Isawa take a hit on him if she had wanted to. But that would also be kind of dishonorable in a way as well.
I'm not concerned with him.
Yeah.
He's just a random person for hire.
Exactly. Which leads us to Isawa.
I'm going to move up and... Question. Mm-hmm. How do I attempt to capture him alive?
You can hit him. So these guys that you felled, they're actually not dead. You basically knocked them out. And so if you wanted to kill them, you would basically have to strike them when they're in when their fatigue is over their endurance to inflict critical wounds. And eventually, once you get to a certain point in critical wounds, you suffer like a fatality and you just basically will end up dying.
Okay, then I'll just attack him.
Okay.
Fire stance.
All right.
3 successes.
And that is enough to drop Bayushi Sugai. He falls down hard. He is way past his limit. He is still alive, although he has been hurt quite a bit. He's basically, what happens is when you fell somebody, they get a critical injury, depending on the deadliness of the weapon.
Okay.
And so you basically critically wounded him, and he can't fight anymore. He's lost the strength to fight.
Togashi, are you skilled in medicine?
Let's find out. I am going to try to recall the teachings in medicine.
Okay.
And move over to the body wherever it's at. And
see to the Topaz champion first.
Yes, exactly. I'm attempting to Yuakimi. Let's see.
Oh, that's way too big.
So I might unmask.
Okay.
In my attempts to as I'm screaming out, no, not again, not another one's gonna die on me again, and completely freaking out. Oh, and another one.
Yeah, I think the other 2 people who are to give you this one.
So I'm going to get my 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, 3 strife, and opportunity. And my opportunity is going to be to yell. I'm going to ask for the others to look away. Do not look at this, and remove 2 strife from Hitasugi.
Okay. While he is doing that, I'm going to work on, fully capturing the fallen by.
And that's going to put me at 2 strife over. So I unmask, I believe.
Yes. From what I remember reading, you can choose to unmask. If you don't unmask, you can't keep any dice with strife on it.
Right, and I would need to keep dice with strife on it in order to succeed. So
yes. So
I
you can unmask here, or you can choose when you would like to unmask to recover all of that.
I think this is the right point. I kind of like just break
down. Okay. Question.
Yes.
If you took the first exploding dice with strife and just the success, that gives you 2 successes. No opportunity, but that should reduce your strife down to reduce your strife by 2, which would put you at the limit. Correct?
Well, yeah, but I don't know what my TN is, so I took as many successes as possible.
Okay.
Because I'm trained in medicine, I'm like, yeah, just put all my effort into it, and I think character-wise, it kind of makes sense to unmask it. Mm-hmm. It's very stressful. Almost, I felt like my life was in danger. Chase someone through the streets. It's been a tense couple of days, and now the Topaz champion needs to be saved, and I'm like, you're not gonna die on me, damn it.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
That's fine.
So you have an unmasking in the middle of the street here, and you're performing medicine on the Fallen Topaz Championship? Or
Togashi was unmasked? What? When? you can't see me, but I'm kind of just looking around.
Yeah, you turned around. Nothing to see here, people. Go about your business.
Well,
And
I'm involved in binding the fallen Bayushi, so
that's true.
Effectively, I'm going to be completely ignoring what he does, other than healing her, performing medicine.
That's okay. Yeah. And so you managed to stabilize Iwakimi here, and you managed to dress up the wound enough where you can transport her back to the grounds for proper healing from actual healers. And when you return to the tournament grounds with Bayushi Sugai, you find Kitsuki Riku grimly preparing to commit seppuku for accidentally injuring her opponent. And Toshimoko stands nearby, and his face looks as if it is carved from stone. But when he sees you, his expression changes to surprise. Hold! He commands Riku. Clearly there is more going on here than first appears. And he motions you to step forward.
I placed the blunted version of her sword on the ground before him and step away before regaling the events that took place.
Okay. And he listens intently. And it is very clear that what you have said is true. And so he has a couple of samurai come and take Bayushi away. And Riku breathes a gentle sigh of relief as he puts her sword down. Hitoshi has been taken away for proper healing. And Iwakimi is also taken away for proper healing. And off in the distance, the three of you see Doji Satsumi's face. He looks on with approval and then turns a challenging gaze directly towards where Hitoshi's being kept before becoming lost in a crowd as his ghostly body just disappears. And that will be the conclusion of our story here. So, I do gotta ask, but what did you think overall about the whole system?
I think it gives opportunities to not just worry about success and failure, but the gray areas in between.
I think I like it.
Okay.
Yeah. I think last time we were all fumbling a little bit, like, oh, opportunities are a thing. What can we do with those? And now it's like, oh, now after a session of that, a week later, it's like opportunity was fresh in my mind from last time, and so I was always trying to look for opportunities to use opportunity.
Yeah. And there's like a lot of different approaches to like just your skills and the way you can spend those opportunities as well.
Yeah, kept the opportunity table up the entire time.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I had the whole player resource folder that you've got.
Mm-hmm.
Ready.
Yeah.
Sometimes I was looking at approaches. Sometimes I was looking at the opportunities, and then I went looking at the cheat sheet and GM screen looking for unmasking. It's not on those, so I went and pulled out my
No.
book and looked at
Yeah.
page 31, and like, oh yeah, the inappropriate outburst seems like the best unmasking.
Yes. I'm a little conflicted.
But well, the other system, like I've run previous editions of
Mm-hmm.
Rokugan, and I know fourth edition really well, having played it several times, having run it twice. It is a system that just naturally makes sense. I don't have to think about how the system plays.
Yeah.
And so that's like, but that's kind of a crutch. And I'm like, I could do it the easy way, or I could do it the really interesting way.
Hmm.
And I can't say that I've actually made a decision yet. I think I want to run the beginner box for these groups, some of which are old hands, some of which have actually played. We went through the beta test for this system,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a little clunky, like every beta test is.
Yeah.
People, oh, that beta test was awful. I'm like, this is the only beta test you've ever done. They're all like this. If you've ever beta tested any role playing game or some board games, you're trying to work out the kinks, and
Yes.
so I want them to actually look at the finished system and then make my decision. Like I'm still leaning towards fifth edition, but it's not a clear choice for me when I run that game. Fourth edition, it's very mature. There's lots of material there. I mean, there's not going to be any new material, but there's tons of material already published. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
But I also think this also brings stuff back into balance. There's like the Saruchi Archer build in fourth edition is just gross. It is mechanically better until you get to like rank 3 or rank 4, when the Bushi and the Shugenja, like maybe rank 3, certain Bushi builds can start to hold their own against Archer as far as what they can do. And then at rank 4, the Shugenja and all the crazy spirit stuff they can do just kind of, explode like most magic users in most systems. But
yeah. Interesting. Because like I think my biggest thing is actually the die system itself. And it's like that's like the whole point of this. That's what makes this game work, right?
right.
But like, for example, you're fighting those ruffians and you have how many it would have been really easy. I think it would have been really easy to have downed you if like I had played them as and as
Considering
actual
you didn't
PCs.
use any exploding dice or add the excess for strife.
Yeah. And like I couldn't have done that to Tagashi because he was in Earth stance the entire time. But I feel like it limits you in some way, but there's also certain freedoms that you get. And
Right.
we haven't even touched upon social interactions yet. So I don't know what that is all about.
So you run the Edge of Empire Star Wars and also the Force and Destiny, right?
Yeah.
And so they don't do roll and keep. You just roll, correct?
Yes.
So but they still use, the different kinds of story elements on the dice. They're just different story elements on the dice.
Yeah.
So
And
how does that compare?
so I think the way that I would sum it up is in this game, it seems like you either choose to fail or you choose to succeed. That's what the dice is telling me. So I can choose to take all of the successes or I can choose not to. Now, there are going to be certain situations where, yeah, I rolled like all 3 blanks and then 1 opportunity kind of a deal, which that's a failure in my eyes.
Right. Well, and there were times where it was TN2 and I would roll 1 success
Mhm.
and get other like opportunity strife combinations on the other dice, and it's like, oh well, since I need two, I can if I want to, I can forget about that one success
Mhm.
and do interesting things with the opportunity possibly. And I looked at that, and then sometimes I was like, well, it doesn't really make sense in this situation, and I'm just like, okay, that's a failure, and all I'm going to do is take the one success. So,
Yeah.
and something that actually gets talked about in I've been reading up online trying to know as much about this system as possible.
Mhm.
I want to run it. So there's in and this is just the beginner box.
Mhm.
There are times when you can call for a roll and your target numbers will vary depending on your approach, which I find
Yes.
more interesting. So it could be a target number 3 base, but it's target number 2 if you did air, and target number 4 or 5 if you did earth,
Yes.
for like trying to jump across a gap.
Yep.
Um,
That's correct.
and is an example that gets used. And that variability there is like, oh, okay, so you're not always reaching for your best approach. I mean, fire,
Mhm.
if it's part of your personality, you're going to keep going back to fire. Or my character's case, earth, very steady, withstand, recall, thoughtful. But there were times it didn't make any sense, so I would essentially forego a kept die in order to sort of uh, go with the system uh, in those tests. I'm like, okay, does the Earth approach really make sense in this situation? And so I would give myself a mechanical disadvantage
Yeah.
to trying to fit the game, or trying to fit the role playing, which I find interesting. And so they also give mechanical situations like that.